Hello, hello, my hey, I got something to say, women around the world and men that support us. What a freaking awesome day it is today. After much to do, finally, my friend Kate is in the house. Hey, Kate.
Andy, I'm here.
So I was asking Kate what her dance was, and she's like, ta-da! And I said, I'll take that dance. That's great. We were having some technical difficulties, but it all worked out. And now we have Kate is on her phone and I can see you beautifully. So that's all that matters.
I'm glad.
Kate, I'm trying to think, did I meet you at Fem City?
I believe either Fem City or with Pat
Nogar?
Nogar. Yes.
One of them. But then it would have still
Yeah.
been through
Fem
Fem City.
City.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And we've
Definitely.
known each other a while.
We do a couple years now, you
And
know.
I know that you've been working on this book of yours for
I
quite a bit.
yes, I have.
It's a passion of yours, hasn't it been? You were not
It
going to
has
give
been
up.
it has been a long time passion, and this book is now published, so I'm over the moon. It's out
Woohoo!
there. Woo! It's right. It's
All right,
out
we're going to
there.
get into that in a little bit, but let me tell them a little bit about you. I love that
Okay.
it's so formal. Kathleen Wilson McDevitt. Many years ago, a promise was made, and now the book is written. The Wilson Way Photography, a memoir about family history, inventors, and her own photography career, fulfills her dream. Ah, makes my heart sing. She is a graduate of Immaculata University. Kathleen, it's so weird calling you Kathleen. Kathleen
Yeah,
is a
I know.
retired computer engineer, senior member of the International IEEE Profession Society, and presently serves as IEEE membership chair and Women in Engineering team leader. Holler. She
Woo.
serves as editor of the Apex Award winning Women in Engineering magazine for the past 10 years. She is a daughter of the American Revolution and a member of the Suburban Philadelphia Press Club. In addition, she is an active member of Fem City, an international, that's where we went, networking women's
Yeah.
group. Kathleen is a loving mother of 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Kathleen is a published freelance photographer in the Philadelphia region and a published writer. Yay! Woohoo!
Woo.
Oh my goodness. And I know it took you a beat to get the book published. It was,
Yeah. Yes. It was a while. Right.
I,
And I have a couple of good friends who helped me with that. You don't do these things alone. You always do it with support.
isn't that
And
true?
yes, it really is. And I have to say, Doreen McGettigan, I have to give her a shout out because she was really instrumental in being supportive,
Yeah.
and we turned into good friends and we support each other now. But I truly probably would not have gotten through the book without her.
It
That's,
takes a
you know,
village, man. It takes a village.
it sure does. It sure does. And I'm just so excited that it is where it is now and I can share this history. It is a historical memoir, and I loved writing it. It's taken a lot of research.
Yep.
And so the first part is my grandfather, who was the first school photographer in the United States. Then there's my dad. I added him because I didn't have enough for a book. So I added him. And when I added him, gee, I still have a ways to go. I got to add something else. So I grew up in Havertown. So I wrote all about my wonderful childhood in Havertown with my
Mhm.
5 brothers and sisters. We lived in a big house that had a secret room. It was an amazing house. And we lived on a 5-acre farm. We had ponies. And I like to talk about Jerry McBoing Boing. That was one of our horses that my father and my grandfather rode in Rose Tree Park for fence to fence
Oh,
races, and also the yeah, fox hunting. There was a
Oh,
lot of fox hunting and in Rose Tree Park area. So it's now a park. Then it was a farm. It was Rose Tree Farm.
yeah.
But anyway, Jerry McBoing Boing, they both rode him, and he was, in our paddock for a long time, and then he was sold. And my father was then into Shetland ponies, raising Shetland ponies. We would get them and train them and sell them in the fall at the auctions. And so we got to the auction this one year, and sure enough, there's Jerry McBoing Boing going to the glue factory. So,
Oh,
so we brought Jerry McBoing Boing Black back to Paddock Farms, and he lived his life out there. And the name Jerry McBoing Boing apparently was a cartoon book in the 40s.
oh,
And
I
that's
like
where
the
that
name.
name came from, Jerry
I,
McBoing Boing.
I like
So,
that.
yes, so that's just one of our stories about the ponies and horses at Paddock Farms. And it was so much fun. It was hard writing about my grandfather because I didn't know him. My father was pretty good because I did know him. I did know his life. But when it came to me, I thought, boy, I can't write about myself. You know what? That's so weird. Well, when you get started, trust me, it was so easy. Once you start, you can't tell yourself. You have to self-talk, and all of a sudden you're writing away. And
You're
of
like,
course,
wait a minute. And then there's this, and then there's this. Yeah.
no one knows your story better than you. So,
Amen.
get your story out there.
All right, so
Um,
listen. Hold on
okay.
there, woman. We're gonna get into more of the book, and you're gonna put the book up, but we're gonna
Okay.
back up a little bit because so many women and men that support us around the world are going to be inspired by this. Not just are going to want to get the book, but it's going to inspire them hopefully to tell their story. So when asked what your power statement was, because I always like, what's a statement you want to tell women around the world? And you said your story matters and it's never too late to tell it. Now, I can tell why you picked that just from what you said, that even
Yeah.
when you thought it was weird to talk about yourself, then all of a sudden the floodgates open. And it's probably very like cathartic to do that.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
Well, to inspire people, I'd like to say I'm single parent. I raised three children by myself, and I went back to school in my 50s. I got my degree. I took all tech courses.
in her
So,
50s, people, in her 50s.
and it was at that time I started researching this book. I did not know it would go into a book, but I was working on the research and making sure I knew all the dates. My father wrote me a 2-page letter for a book which finally finished out at 256 pages. so, so
Okay.
it did. But I just want to say that I just turned 80, and this book is now out there, and
Yay.
I
Hold up
I
the
feel
book for those of you viewing it.
I
I
feel so
love
good
the
about
freaking
it.
cover.
It
Captured
really,
with love and history. It says captured with love and history.
right,
Wilson Wave Photography. Yeah. Open
right,
just one page. I know for those of you who aren't viewing, you won't be able to see it right now, but open us to just one page that you love.
okay,
Any page you want, Kate.
all right, all right, all right. I just want to get okay. This is a pony,
Oh,
and his name was Dasher. And one year we got seven ponies all at once, Shetland ponies. And so
gotcha.
my father named them for the reindeers. And this is Dasher, and he was red and white Pinot. And he
Oh,
was so popular that everybody loved him. But he was tough to train. And a friend, so this one volunteer said she wanted to ride him, and he did not like it. And not only did he try and get her off the pony, he laid down on the grass and rolled over to get her off. So the trainer got her off real fast. She wasn't hurt at all,
yeah, yeah.
uh, but he gave us quite a show. That red and white Pinot, what a character.
I can't even
Well,
imagine how much fun it would be to be surrounded by horses and ponies growing up. I
it,
mean, to me, that would be like a dream come true.
I think it's a dream for a lot of people. We had pony rides every Saturday morning through the 50s, and I think it was mainly in the 50s,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it really went well that way. And here's, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little picture of me with my pony, the midnight. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it totally. And for those of you who cannot see it because you're just listening, you'll get the book and you'll be able to see it. All right. So, Kate, you
Yes,
mentioned that many years ago you made a promise. Tell us what that promise was about because you mentioned it in your bio that you made yourself a promise. Is it yourself a promise or
yeah.
did you make a promise to somebody else?
It was to my father. My father asked me twice to do something because his father was the father of school photography, and it was not well known at all, and he wanted to get it out there. So I, he contacted me, and I had just moved into a house. I had three children. I had an Irish painter there painting this back of the house, and it was just like a chaotic, crazy morning when my father called and asked me to, he wanted me to write, he didn't ask me to write a book. He said, I want you to make him famous somehow. And I said, I will, but you write me a story, all you remember about your father, and send it to me. And I can't do it now. I have three kids. I'm a little busy, Dad, but I will in time.
Wait. I just want to make sure I heard the right. He wanted you to make your grandfather famous?
Right,
Okay.
right. His father, because his
Yep.
father was a school photographer.
Okay.
And so, so anyway, he sent me a letter. It was 2 pages. And then when he was sick and he was getting ready to have a terrible operation, and we had been down to visit him, and he said, "All right, I want you to remember about Grandpa Wilson." He said, "I never felt he got the attention he should have. He, did all of this. He was a great inventor and engineer." And
Gotcha.
my grandfather, had like 55 patents to his name, and did not get a
Whoa.
lot of credit for it at all. And my father wanted that to happen. So I promised him on, basically, he passed away 2 days later, and he made me promise. So it was, it would stick in my heart forever. There's no way I was going to not
No
remember it.
heckin' way. All right. And what
So
year was that?
that was 1985.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I didn't get working on it until I went to Immaculata, and then I had to write a lot of different things. So I did research on nonprofits and photography, and how to build a nonprofit for school photography. And I did a lot of research, and that was my base paper. So that's was the first writing of it, and then I let it go. I was um, working full time at the FAA. After my degree, I got a job down at in Pomona, New Jersey, and so I didn't get back to it until my retirement in 2012. But I didn't jump in it right away. It was after I was in the press club, Delaware County Press Club. That's where I met
Oh, yeah.
Doreen. Yeah, the press club. I met Doreen because I'm a photographer, and I was a photographer for Philadelphia for several years. I did the Radnor Hunt for 20 years. I took pictures of Radnor Hunt, and it kept me in touch with the horses that I grew
Yeah.
up with. I could hear the beat of their hoofs in their races, and I was able to, because I had press passes. I was right on the racetrack with them, and I got some pretty interesting pamphlets. They published it also. That was a great experience, and so that was added to the book. That was pretty easy to. I wrote about several of the pictures I have taken that have taken me to very unique places. I was up
Yeah.
at 9/11. I did the rock.
Wow.
I did the Rocky Balboa red carpet, and I did Elton John received a special honor in Philadelphia for his song Philadelphia Freedom. So I covered that. I was the only one there covering it. So that was super neat. So I've had a lot of great experience with my photography.
Yes, you have. All right, so let's back up a little because this is
Okay.
very, very inspirational.
That's
I mean, it's blowing me away. So you made a promise in 1985, and then you worked on it. You said it was your preliminary paper, and then you put it
right.
aside.
Right.
And because you were working and kids and all that other stuff
Right.
until you start when you retired in 2012, you picked it up again, but not
Not
fully.
right away.
Yeah.
Well, I retired 2013. I
Oh,
moved back to
2013.
media in 2013. And that's when I got back into the press club because I was local again.
Okay.
And so that's when, and I was hearing a lot of speaking from authors and writers at the press club. It's very impressive. We would have uh, meet very interesting people,
Hmm.
and it's networking like Fem City. So
Yeah.
it was really great, and it built my confidence up. And thought, gee, I can do this or I can do that. A memoir. This is a historical memoir because it is about history,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um, and to write a memoir of this nature is just snippets of stories. So, like, I have a pretty good story on my grandfather and my father, but growing up in Havertown and my photography is snippets of stories that I'm sharing, and people should have more confidence to write their own story.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest hesitation? Like, there are a lot of people.
They think
Yeah.
they can't do it, and that's why I say if they could keep in mind it's just snippets of stories. It's not like you have to write a book. It's like start out with just some fun stories that you knew growing up, and then you just put it together. It really
I gotcha.
is
I,
amazing.
it's
Yeah,
different. It's different than a fictional novel. It's totally different.
right. Than a history or anything like that. I mean, a memoir is your thoughts. Really, it's your
Okay.
thoughts.
So then what I'm hearing from you, and they want to know your method. So, because there are so many people that have a story to tell.
Yeah.
So you got it out, then you put it on hold, and then you started bringing it back around 2013. But when did you really go all in? Was there a point, or did you just write, okay, this is one snippet about my grandfather and my dad. This is another snippet about
I
Jim
really
and Jerry
started
Binky Bob.
after the pandemic. During the pandemic, I worked on my photography the whole time. It was wonderful, uninterrupted time. And I always have photography I want to sort and edit
Yeah.
and put out there and frame and do different things with. So I really uh, was so happy to have that time to do it. That's my first love is photography. Probably my fifth love, but I have a lot of loves. But anyway,
Yeah.
uh, after that, I really got into it. It was the influence at the press club to get me back into that mood of writing, um, and I finally figured out I could do it, and I uh, had notes and things that I had had over the years, and I just kind of put that together. The hardest part for me was starting it.
I think it's everyone. That's everyone.
Yes, it's the hardest thing is starting it, but once you do that, and like I said, I had to add on because I didn't have enough for a book. Um, you just find a new chapter that you want to add and expand on it, and I mean your life has to be somewhat interesting and need a little drama somewhere.
Everyone's life has that.
Right,
Everyone.
right. So I don't know. You usually open your book with a drama, and then you resolve the issues as you go along. And
So for you, did you have a certain method that, because I know there's all different methods and there's not one that works for everyone, but did you have a certain time of day and a certain amount of time of day that you would work on it, that you commit to, or just when the spirit moved you?
I like to write in the morning, And a lot of times I'd like to take my computer to like Panera or someplace of that nature, and then you can sit there and type, and you're not interrupted by your own thoughts or, oh, I have to get up and clean this, I have to vacuum, oh, I better start to wash. All of those are distractions away from your writing. One time, Doreen and I took a train for 3 hours up and 3 hours down. My rule was, Doreen, you can't sit beside me and you can't talk. And we both did writing the whole ride,
Oh my God.
up and down. It's such a great way to write because you're not interrupted. And then one time I had a trip to Pittsburgh for a conference. I took my laptop and it was a smooth ride. And I typed. I swear I got a lot of my book done there because I could just type away. I must have gotten like 4 chapters done on the way out there,
Yeah.
at least, because it's uninterrupted time. So you can find a little place. In media, we have a new place called Cafe Sphere, and it just has tables all over the place for people to come and sit down and bring their computer in and write, or just come and visit people. But it's an ideal place for a writer to write uninterrupted.
I like that. And for me too, I like going to new locations. So as far as I get them on there's little snippets and you can add into it and you tell that story and you can go back if you want to add a little more pieces to it.
Right. Well, the
Go ahead.
the story about my father, my grandfather, my father, they had stories. They had their stories. So I would say the beginning were more stories. Um, although no, my grandfather was like kind of from beginning to end. He was an apprentice and that kind of thing. But then we did trips down to this manor where he grew up, and the snippets were the stories of trips down there with friends and family.
Yeah. So
That
this
would
is what
be
I
the
think would be
snippet.
really cool that I never have done in 17 years. You ready for it?
I am. What is it?
I'm so excited because I love first. I love first.
Share. Share.
I would think it would be really cool if you did a reading, just like, when you go and you sign books and you have a reading. I think it'd
Right.
be really cool if you read us something and or told us one of the stories. You can either read it right from the book, pick a
Uh-huh.
page, or you can tell us one. You get to pick. And I've never done that. And I've had a lot of authors on.
Okay. So let me see.
Do
Well,
you want to read one from the book or do you want to just tell it?
I told you that, about Jerry McBoing Boing.
You got to tell us one more.
And
Do you want to
um,
read it from the book, open it up and read it from the book, or do you want to just tell us?
I think I'd tell because I'd have a hard time.
Yeah,
I
tell us, because
could,
I've never done that. No one's
yeah.
ever opened their book, and I don't think so, unless my memory's bad. I've heard them tell snippets, but I think it'd be really cool for you to do just a piece, like of one of the stories.
All
Like
right.
read it to us, like story time, Kate.
Okay. Well, let me just look here and see what would be interesting snippet. I want to read a snippet for you.
I love that word, snippet.
I do too.
I'm gonna use that again. I'm gonna read you a snippet.
Yes, a snippet. And I took a course down in Ocean City when I lived down there, from a woman named Eva. And she's the one who introduced snippets to me.
Okay, good.
And the course was on memoirs.
I like that.
Let's see.
While you're looking, you look and I'll talk to them. So
You talk.
I'm going to talk to them while you look. So I differently than Kate have written books more on mental and physical well-being. And when I was writing a journal, I wanted to write a guided journal book. And I think it was, I don't know, 2016. And it really was just to inspire you to have a morning routine and how do you get yourself in that powerful positive mindset in 1 to 3 minutes a day. And I write the whole journal book, and it's a guide. So it's just a guide. And then it took me like almost a year to come up with that one page because it had to be like awesome and it had to really motivate you and only take 1 to 3 minutes. And I'm all done the book, and the agent says you're 70,000 words short. I'm like, what? It's a guidebook. And here in the contract, it had to be a certain length, and we did not know that. And it was hysterical because my agent just had found out from the publisher. So I, for the first time in my life, had to tell. I decided it was a time to tell a little piece of my story, and it wasn't long, but believe it or not, that got more attention, and it made people want to try the journal pages because now they understood why I had that point of view. So that was really funny. And I remember it was like the night before my huge Christmas party where I have like 100 people here. And I was like, what? It's the guidebook. It's not supposed to be a long book. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And so then I just spent those 70,000 words telling about how I grew up. And I never would have done that. But it made sense because then people knew, oh, that's why she so believes in what she does. Wasn't that great?
That is great. But yeah, that's snippets. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So now did you
Yeah.
find something?
All right. So this is my father. He had Wilson Camera Company and he moved it out to Havertown. So here's one of his stories. During World War II, Wilson Camera Company became involved in manufacturing plastic laminations, panels for Air Force, aircrafts, and military applications. My dad took many trips to Washington, D.C. for meetings on covert projects and secret operations in preparation for the war. He said he remembered street talk and rumors about the Japanese attacking Pearl Harbor, the powers that just didn't think it would happen and ignored the warnings or never heard them. These rumors never reached the military command at Pearl Harbor. The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor later that year on December 7th, 1941. Thomas C. Wilson Jr.'s life was fast paced from high school graduation in 34, and sometime during these years, he fell in love with his secretary, Margaret Mary Teresa McCourt, my mom, known as Peg by friends and family. They dated. Their first date was at the Army Navy football game, which is a forever favorite in our family because of its historical family moment. Let's see. Uh, and so they got married October 4th, 1941. Their first daughter was Anne, was born in September 25th, 1942. Peg Wilson was a wonderful, loving mom and had a good marriage with my dad, although, like most marriages, they had their ups and downs. This was
Oh,
mainly over the family business, since it was mostly up and down, being a small family business. My mom was dad's girl Friday, and she was the bookkeeper. That's how he knew her, is because she was
ah,
his secretary. So that's one part. That's
I love that. And you know what that's showing me? First of all, I could listen to you tell your stories all day. And I think that it's important that when you're telling your story to realize it's not boring to somebody else. You know, when people say, who
uh-huh.
would want to hear my story? It's so many people because so many people can, either relate to your story or you put yourself right back in to when it's happening.
I find it brings a memory out for them.
Yeah.
That the
Yeah.
audience remembers an audience and an incident that, oh, that triggered
Yeah.
it, and they remember it. It makes them happy, and um, so I know what you're saying, and I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
does help, and that's nice. Thank you very much
Yeah.
um,
Well, you
for
should
that
see, I mean,
compliment.
your whole energy changes when you start telling a story, or even when you were talking at the beginning
Uh-huh.
about your childhood. You light up. And even if
Yeah.
you can't see Kate right now, I know you can feel the energy. And it's so nice for me to hear stories of a childhood that was like, of course, ups and downs, but mostly
But
loved.
yes, it was a very loving childhood, and we were very fortunate.
Yeah.
And my father was a really neat dad. He made a lot of things happen, and it's a good story to read because it'll take you back to those times.
Yeah.
And for people who haven't didn't have those times, I think that it can trigger happiness in a way because they can see it. They can see in their own imagination what they could have,
Mhm.
not in a bad way. I mean, in a good way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yes, that also, my father had his own invention, and he was in Life magazine in 1941. So I won't go on, but they can read the book to find out about that. But he also had a very interesting life, you
How
know. So,
exciting. So back up a bit because I have a couple questions just about the book. So when did you, big question I have, when
okay.
did you finish the book? And was that difficult for you? Because did you want to keep, like some people say, do you think, oh, I should add one more thing? What, should I add one more thing? Or were you like,
Yeah.
nope, this is done?
Well, I went through that. I finished the book, and I decided I wanted to add more history about Havertown. Like, my history was about my house and our property and the different things we did in the neighborhood. But I added the history of Havertown from when the Irish came over, because it's referred to as the 33rd county of Ireland. It had so many Irish had immigrated there. So I did, an Irish history of Havertown. Um, and it came out pretty good. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. So when I finished my book, I actually finished it in 1923, and I was going to Drexel for a push to publish, and it was I went 2 years in a row, and I met a publisher the first year I was there, and he said, love what you're writing about. I love your book. I wrote one about my family, and I can't wait to read yours."
Okay. And that was
So,
2023?
right,
20.
this is a publisher. So
Yeah.
this is nice. They'll be publishing it for me. He was a super nice guy. But I wanted to be published by this little company on Lawrence Road in Havertown, because it was on the same street where my father's business was for 20 years.
Hmm.
Um, on Lawrence Road in Havertown. So I thought, wouldn't it be neat to have a local publisher publish this? But the the part of the publishing that they did was history, but it was army and that kind of thing, and it was an English publisher. But they started a new section called Brookline, and I was really excited. But they rejected the book. I was devastated. But then I thought, well, let me get this book out to this other publisher who really was
Yeah.
really interested. And I sent it, and I didn't hear from the guy. So that September of, I think it was 2024, it was a year later.
Hmm.
So he was on the list as a publisher again. So his name was Larry. So I said, Larry, this is Kate McDevitt. I want to talk to you about my book. I would like to talk to you. I did send it in. I never heard from you. So we did a Zoom, and I got 15 minutes to interview him. And he said, you know what? I looked up your book. He said, and I do love it. And I do want to get it published. And he gave me all these instructions to do and to submit it. He said, I want you to make two books, not just one. Do the one about the engineers and your photography, and the second book, growing up in Havertown with the Irish history. Do that separate.
Okay.
So, so I did the first book. I did it over. Now I'm not saying it was great or anything. I sent it in. Oh, and he said, you send it in. He said, we'll write the contract, and then we'll work on the second book.
Okay. Sounds
I
good
s-
to me.
Sounds good. Right. Look at me right in the eye. Nice guy, right? Real sincere. Ghosted me. I never
Ah,
heard from him. I was devastated. I really was devastated looking back. You shouldn't let them get to you, but his sincerity and
yeah,
request
but it
for me.
wasn't like he was on the fence. You were like got your hopes up, like this was happening.
Right. He made promises, it was
Yeah.
really bizarre. It was bizarre. Like
Weird.
I I know I thought maybe he had a heart attack or something, but I called, and he was promoting his books and things, he just never responded. And I called their helpline, they had customer service, nothing. I just
Great.
was having, so I really put that book down for a long time. And I'm saying I added, the last thing I added in the book was the Irish history. I said, oh, it needs to have some Irish history uh,
Okay.
for the Havertown thing. I had been reading a lot about Havertown, and I thought, I got to add this. So I did add a whole section to it. Um, but that really discouraged me, and so it took me a while to get myself out there again. And you have to send letters, every other day. And I know are you self-published or published to a
Published.
publisher?
It took me a while. It took me 36 rejections.
36 rejections. Well, um, and that's not bad though, 36, because
36
Jesus.
rejections in a year and a half. And my
Ah,
agent was like, there's no, because she was from New York. She wanted a big publisher. And she's like, there's nobody left. If I throw it out to these last five, because you can't re-throw it out to people once you do. And the last one took me. Yeah.
wow. Wow, that's good. Well, I didn't. I really, I think I sent out 20 letters and I didn't
And
get anything. I got one response and she was nice about it. And years ago, I wrote years ago, and I used to get a lot back, and they would say, "Oh, try this publisher. This is a good article. We like it. Try it here. Try it there." Um, but they were articles to publish in magazines. But at any rate, and Doreen had used this company, and I had been through it with her for a couple of her books, and I liked them. So I self-published through Book Locker, and they
good for
were
you.
very reasonable. A lot of people go out, they can spend up to $10,000 on a book.
Or
And
more. Or
or
more.
more. Oh yeah, definitely. And they wouldn't get as much as I got for a very it was on sale for I'm almost embarrassed to say how much, but it was $800 to publish his book.
Shut up.
I am not kidding. And they did a
That's
great job. And
Kate, that's awesome. That's
that
awesome.
cover, it was on sale. They're usually $900. And for a softback book.
That's
And
unbelievable. Well,
I
that's
did my cover.
beautiful.
I work with them, but this was my design, the cover. They were pretty good about letting me do that too. Yeah, amazing,
You
amazing.
know what that tells me? I mean, because I want to bring it back to the people listening and watching. Where there's a will, there's a way. Great if you can get it published, but there's also pros and cons about publishers because they take a lot, you know? So here
Yeah,
you own your book, you know?
mm-hmm,
And
right.
you weren't going to give up. Yeah, great if you got a publisher, but if you didn't, you were getting it out there. And that was my attitude too.
Right.
When
I
my
really,
agent said, like, listen, this is the last one, I'm like, all right, I'll self-publish. It's all right.
yeah, right.
Oh my goodness. And
So
so
they were
this
great.
just came out, right, Kate? What month did it come out?
Yes, yes. It came out March 20th.
Okay.
March 20th, and here it is, June. So it's 3 months.
Yeah, it's fresh, man.
Yep. And I didn't get my first order of books until late. So I didn't have my book, and people would say, gee, if you had your book, I'd buy it. So now I travel with my book all the time. I always have my book with me.
That's awesome. All right, before we
So,
get into where they can get the book,
right.
um, what do you hope? Like, is there any hope you have of what your children or grandchildren will learn from this story?
First of all, my cousins and my nieces and nephews that read the book said they were absolutely amazed at the Wilson Way history. They didn't know any of our family history. And through
Yeah,
this book, they know their grandfather and their uncle.
yeah,
Um, there's a lot in it with photography. Um, and there was a lot to learn about it.
yeah.
So that is a great takeaway. Also, I want to see Wilson Way, Thomas C. Wilson school photographer in a crossword puzzle, or his name mentioned on Jeopardy. That's my goal.
Um, I love that. That's great. Gotta
Yes.
have goals, man.
Yep. Yes, I have a lot of goals, and
That's great. I love that. You'll
yes.
never get bored.
No. No.
You have a lot of goals and hobbies and interests and involved
I
in so
do.
many.
I have to mention, and I don't know if I mentioned this before. I haven't had time to work on it, but I did. I am the founder uh, of women the Women's Walk of Fame in Philadelphia on Broad Street, North Broad Street. And the first woman in it um, is Grace Hopper, who was an inventor of the compiler, which was like the first application in a computer. She gave us Word Perfect per se. She gave us
Go, Kate.
that. Yep. So,
That's
so
awesome.
anyway, so that's one of my projects down the road. I've got to get that. We want a second person in, and I know there's a woman. Her name's LeCount, and she was a very hardworking civil rights worker in
Okay.
Philadelphia. She was born here, and so she's next
All
to
right,
go
Kate.
into my Walk of Fame.
Kate, we got to wrap it up. I know we could talk forever, but
That's true.
we could.
All right.
Not even on the podcast. But before two things, before we go, I always ask all my guests if
Okay.
you could whisper one message in every woman's ear around the world and men that support us, what would it be? You get to whisper whatever you want in their ear when they wake up tomorrow morning.
I think kindness and gratefulness will help you in your life, whatever
Uh,
you do, wherever you go.
can't go wrong with that, Kate.
No.
All right. Now, how
Okay.
can they find the book? Why we're here?
Well, Captured with Love and History is on Amazon. It's also on Book Locker. You can just do a search and it'll come up.
Okay.
I do have a poster that I can give you, Sandy, and you can post it, or I don't know if you can post
Yep.
it.
Yeah, we can.
Um, it has a it has a thing right to Book Locker. I
Like a
like to give
QR
them
code. A QR code.
yeah, QR code,
Okay.
and it takes you right to Book Locker, and they are a great company, and I'd like to give them some business selling the book. So
All right. We'll make sure we add that to the show notes. The show.
okay,
All
I
right.
don't know if I think I put it in that email actually.
Then we
It's
already have it.
it's attached. Yeah, I'll
Then we're
double
all good.
check, but
Then
yes,
we're all good to go. Okay. All right. My hey, I got something to say, women around the world and men that support us. Come on. You know you're going to want to share, like, and rate this. There's people that will definitely be inspired. And what I love is hearing Kate's journey about the book and how she kept her promise and she wasn't able to publish, and then it was devastated. She put it aside, and now it's out, and she's 80 years old.
that's
So
right.
your story
That's
is
right. Never give
fascinating.
up.
Yeah, never give up. It's never
Yeah,
too late. And oh, and you went back to be an engineer, what, in your 50s?
yeah. Computer science in my 50s. Yeah.
Computer science in your
They
50s.
called me engineer. In my last position, I was called a computer engineer. I was on big studies for the government.
And she's still rocking and rolling.
I am. I am. Lots of goals. Keep your goals going.
Keeps you young. All right,
Yeah.
that's all for now. And you know what I'm going to say. Thank you so much for your support. I feel like I attract the most amazing humans. I love you guys. And until next time, bye, Kate, and toodles.
I'll see you now, Sandy. Take
Oh,
care.
I'm going to do that again. It's like jazz hands.
Yeah.
Uh,